As a teacher, getting CPD isn't always easy.
Developing on my own would be difficult in my school. We're a very small school and everyone's got their own areas that they've got to take charge of. Everyone's very busy all the time.
This programme looks at two solutions. Firstly, networking with colleagues from other schools.
The whole idea is getting started, being motivated, being excited.
And secondly, concentrating on the in-house opportunities for professional development.
So I could see the way that you interacted with the kids and little tips like behaviour management strategies and things like that, which I picked up on, was really good.
Lisa Varley, head teacher at Rossmere Primary in Hartlepool, likes the idea of collaborative working between schools, often with the involvement of advanced skills teachers.
I think the culture of education is changing quite considerably in that heads and ASTs and any level of professional management need to start looking at networking. Network learning is the future of education. As schools become more isolate in terms of support from local authority, we've got to go out and find those networks.
We'll take a look at how AST Alison Fisher has partnered with Jane Dolphin from nearby St Bega's Primary to develop themselves professionally.
My previous AST work has been working alone, so it's a brilliant opportunity for me to actually work collaboratively with somebody, to be able to bounce ideas off somebody, talk things through and learn from each other.
And later we'll see how teachers at a school in Newcastle are benefiting from an in-house mentoring scheme. Alison and Jane started working together when they both identified a need to improve boys' writing skills.
But in St Bega's, they're doing the same project that we're doing at Rossmere. The project that I explained to some of you a little bit about. I met Jane in September in 2005, and Jane didn't have very much outreach work at that point. Then the opportunity came up at Rossmere for me to work raising standards. And I thought it would be an ideal opportunity to involve another AST, and Jane immediately came to mind. Second,
Alison had 4 years' expertise as an AST. Jane was only in her first year, but literacy was her specialism. It seemed a natural partnership which would benefit both schools.
Working with Alison for me has given me good insight to what it means to be an AST. She's obviously very experienced at it, and it's been a good in-way for me. It's given me more confidence, and any problems that I've had, I've felt we can talk through together.
We caught up with Jane and Alison as they met to discuss how they were tackling the project, the first step of which was to consult their pupils.
The majority of mine, 11 out of the 12, said they don't enjoy writing. So in the which part of writing do you find difficult? A lot of them found ideas to start their writing difficult. The questionnaires we designed to find out exactly what the children thought about writing and to find out what areas they found difficult, so we could then tailor the project to focus on improving those difficult areas.
Based on their research, Jane and Alison devised an action plan to improve the boys' literacy skills.
So this afternoon we're going to use it as a session to introduce them to the software, and it's to kind of whet their appetite about the project, to get them motivated and excited. And obviously there's that issue where boys find it difficult to use their imagination, but this should really... Software, I think, is a way into stimulating boys and to motivate them.
Yeah, because they do tend to write about things that they've seen on videos or DVDs, don't they? So
Jane and Alison decided to team teach the initial lesson to gauge the pupils' reactions.
Brilliant. How do you fancy getting your hands on a digital camera? Good. Good. Right. Okay, in our project we're going to use a digital camera, we're going to use a computer, some software, and we're going to do some writing to go with it.
today we saw the children become familiar with the software. We introduced them. It wasn't so much a lesson as a starter session, just to say, look, kids, this is what you're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. Get your hands on the cameras. Look what you can do. Can we use this to help with our writing?
Right, I'm going to give each group a situation. You're not going to know what each of this is. I want you to talk in a group and decide how you can show that, just like we showed what was going on there. And then you're going to get your pause, and one of you is going to take a photograph, and we're going to put them on the board and have a look, see if the other group can decide what was going on.
This is a playground scene. The teacher noticed that John So Juanita John was always alone at playtime. That means the other children realised.
We're not very ICT expertise, I suppose, so it's been good for us to work together, sort out any problems together, rather than it just being one person dominating and saying, oh, this is how you do it.
Right, let's have a look at the next one.
I think might be crying.
Right, what makes you think that?
Because he looks upset.
And there's somebody noticed and gone over. Who's the person, Bailey, who's noticed and gone over?
The teacher.
The teacher.
I think useful, yeah, to do it together, and then I can take the results back and try it with my children, see if we get the same response.
Because we're going to be taking photos, just like that, thinking carefully how we're going to set them up, what people's expressions are, what people are feeling, to go with a story. You're going to write the story. We're going to read it within our group. We're then going to make it better. We're going to edit it, read it again, make sure it's exactly what we want, and then record it for the final story.
So what are the challenges to establishing and managing such a working partnership?
Time really has been the only factor that's caused us a problem so far in our partnership. I could do Tuesday. We have staff meeting Monday. You'd have staff meeting Tuesday.
I could ask if I could. Let me ask. Let me ask and see whether I could be allowed.
I think in terms of a head teacher's commitment to investing in people, you're only going to get out what you put into the system. So you need to look at contingency and make sure that people have the appropriate time to lead through initiatives. Otherwise, you're just setting people up to fail.
Ultimately, the payoff for all involved certainly seems to be outweighing any minor difficulties.
The two ASTs, Jane and Alison, are starting to impact upon achievement across Hartlepool Authority. We're hoping this will be a trailblazing project that other ASTs will be able to take on board and learn lessons from to raise standards of achievement.
If an opportunity comes up to do something different from the norm, then yes, grab it with both hands. It can only be a learning experience. And any opportunity comes up to work collaboratively with somebody, that brings about twice as many benefits.
I think other ASTs have got to realise that they're not on their own, that it's a matter of finding someone that they can work with, that they feel comfortable with, and to know that you're not isolated.
Beach Hill Primary School in Newcastle offers an example of another approach to CPD, bringing training in-house as far as practical. Gary Wallace felt that mentoring was the best means of achieving this when he became head 4 years ago.
We wanted the mentoring to be a much more ongoing process rather than something that was done once a year. And we found that by combining the mentoring with practical hands-on experience with team teaching, we could actually develop something that was much, much better, much more powerful for the actual teachers themselves.
Gary wants all members of staff to have access to support from each other. Susie Hinchliffe started at the school in September and has 2 mentors she can turn to for advice.
I've got Julie, who is the more experienced one of the two, who I can go to and, you know, pick her brains of expertise of literacy and things like that. Then I've also got Jackie to go to, who, if I've got a silly question, I'm a bit too embarrassed to go and ask somebody with a wealth of experience, you know. Jackie, who is more my peer, I can then go to and get some advice from her, so it's nice to have the option.
We took a look at the mentoring process in action.
I noticed that after we've done the practice SATs, what's come out of the results is that the boys have struggled with their creative writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you've highlighted that as an area for improvement.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's a question of thinking of different strategies to use with them.
We have sort of meetings on a half-termly basis where we'll get our heads together and look at what's worked and what hasn't and why and how we can take that forward. And then generally it's just on a day-to-day basis. She's quite happy for me to just go and knock on a door and cry for help if I need to.
I would suggest as a way forward that you plan a unit of work together with Jackie and actually team teach it.
This is where Jackie steps in, giving Susie specific advice in an area where she's looking to develop. The school finds team teaching a productive means of sharing good practice.
We all observe each other quite closely, which is nice. So you can pick up tips right across the board, and each member of staff has their own area of expertise which you can go to, and it's just nice to go and ask for some help if you need it.
You can just tell Miss Hinchliffe what our newspaper report is going to be about today.
Invasion.
alien invasion. And
The focus for that lesson that we've just seen was a literacy lesson where we're looking at report writing. She basically came and was concerned about boys' writing and was looking at ways that she could up the levels of achievement in boys' writing. And so what we did in that lesson was used a lot of elements of ICT, which the boys in my class love to use. Also at the end, when they were getting filmed as a news reporter, it just sort of gave their writing a little bit more purpose as well.
Right, you're watching the 6 o'clock news on ITV1, the breaking headlines. Last night at Beach Hill Primary School in Newcastle upon Tyne, Mr Wallace, the head teacher, was abducted. An alien grabbed him from behind and put him in a spaceship and flew away.
Fantastic. Give me a round of applause. Absolutely fantastic.
After the lesson, Jackie meets Susie to find out if the process has been productive.
so how did that go then?
It was brilliant. It was great. The kids absolutely loved it. The boys got so much out of it, and they were all so engaged and inspired by what they were doing.
Anyone else going to be brave and come up there?
Maybe.
Ready? Let's have a look. Drew, go on then.
It was very relaxed, so it wasn't, you know, under the pressure of being observed by another teacher. So I could see the way that he interacted with the kids, and little tips like behaviour management strategies and things like that, which I picked up on, was really good. Waiting for some people.
I found that it was good to have someone else in as well, just to gain skills for myself. It doesn't matter what stage you are in your career, everyone's got new approaches or different skills that they can offer to other professionals as well. It's a good opportunity to just be able to share what you're doing and generate new ideas as well to keep your teaching interesting for you and for the children.
So how easy have Beach Hill found it to put their mentoring in place?
I think we had one or two members of staff who at first, I think, became quite concerned. Why had we suggested that they possibly did some work with another member of staff? I think working from the needs of the children is often a good way around because you're highlighting their needs. We're just saying that, look, this is an even stronger way of helping these children and helping them to make the progress that they do.
The secret to their success has been creating the right ethos within the school to encourage staff to take control of their own CPD.
Everyone here seems to be very aware of what they are doing now and have very clear targets of where they want to be next.
I do firmly believe the best CPD is always in-house. Seeing it happening in a colleague's classroom that you trust, that you respect, and when you can see the results and you work together, I think that's a very powerful tool for improving teaching.
I think the next step would be for me to do the team teaching, take it into my environment, in my classroom with my kids, you know, and see how successful they can be. It's something that they've never done before, and seeing the excitement from Jackie's classroom, I'm looking forward to taking it into my classroom and having Jackie share the experience with me.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for helping me. It's been fantastic, and I can't wait to take these ideas and do it in my own class. Brilliant.
You can use the search facility on the Teachers TV website to find other programmes that may help with your CPD in areas like mentoring and other peer-to-peer learning techniques. Click on the video button on the homepage and use the categories on the left to find the programmes you're looking for.